Hi guys, welcome to Educating Shani. I'm Shani and I have an eating disorder. Hi Shani. Hi. Wow, that lipstick is a lot brighter than I thought it would be. You're welcome. So before I start today's Topic Tuesday video, I just wanted to say something really quickly. So I'm becoming a YouTuber. I know I'm technically already a YouTuber because I make a bunch of YouTube videos, but what I'm talking about is that this is becoming my job. This is becoming not my job, but my thing. This is what I do now. And I help other people and I help myself by making videos about my eating disorder. And as a YouTuber, you're supposed to promote yourself as much as you can. And so I'm sorry to bother you again with this, but if you have a second and you haven't already done this, please go subscribe to me. It takes 2 seconds to sign up for YouTube, and then once you're signed up, you just go to my channel, Educating Shani, and you push subscribe right next to my name, and then you're subscribed to me, and that's all that you have to do. It's super easy. And for those of you who don't know who I am and don't follow me, the reason that I want more subscribers, I have red all over me. The reason I want more subscribers is not because I have more subscribers so I can say I have more subscribers. It's for the kids. It's because kids out there click on the videos that are popular, and if my videos are more popular, they're more likely to click on my videos than those horrible dumbass videos that are out there on the internet promoting eating disorders and cutting and all kinds of self-destructive behavior. And so I'd rather me be popular than all of those other stupid videographer people out there who are doing those videos, so that the kids will click on my videos instead and hopefully learn from my mistakes. So that's my point. That's all, and thank you, and I love you, and thank you for loving me, and for those of you who have already subscribed to me and who love me, and I love you, and I love the world, and I want you to love me, and I want the world to love me, and I want the world to love themselves through watching me. Okay, let's get started with today's Topic Tuesday video. Okay, so I was asking Danny what I should do for my video today, and he suggested that I talk about the difference between having an eating disorder as a child and having an eating disorder as an adult. And so I thought that was a really good idea, so that's what I'm going to talk about. I made my very own list of top 10 things that I think are the differences between childhood eating disorders and adult eating disorders. Keep in mind, if you don't know who I am not a doctor, I am not a psychologist, I'm not licensed in any of that, I'm not educated beyond experience in any of that. I'm just somebody who has 26 years of experience under her belt that started at 5 years old, and so most of my videos are given to you based on experience, which is sometimes a better thing, and so yeah. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so number 10 is age. That's the most obvious one. Obviously, age is a big difference between adult and children, but with age comes experience. Most eating disorders actually start in childhood. I'm not saying they all do, but most eating disorders do start when you're either a child or a teenager. That's a fact. I do know that for sure. But sometimes it does start later in life. It's kind of rare, but yeah, sometimes adults will develop eating disorders in adulthood already, but most eating disorders do start when you're younger. So it's not just about age, it's more about experience. That's a huge difference. Number 9, eating whatever you want versus not eating whatever you want. As adults, we have total freedom. That's one of the things about being an adult, is that we have total freedom, we have total responsibility for ourselves, and we get to choose what we eat and when we eat and how we eat and where we eat and why we eat and who we. And as children, you don't have that choice. As children, you know, you're given a plate of food by your parents. If you have good parents, they teach you to eat healthy and to eat a normal amount for a child. And so it's really kind of hard to get away with it as a child because you don't really have a choice over what you're eating. And I have experience with this because my childhood eating disorder started with binge eating disorder at 5 years old. And for me, I knew that I couldn't do that in front of my family, and so I would just hide food. I would try and copy what my siblings were doing, how much they were eating, so that I didn't look conspicuous. Is that the word? Inconspicuous? Is it inconspicuous or conspicuous? So I didn't have any attention on what I was doing. I would try and copy them, but then I would hoard food, I would hide food, I would even take leftover food from the dinner table and go and hide it in my room to eat later. I would hoard food, I would hide it, and I would eat it later because that's the only way that I could keep my eating disorder going, and that's the only way that I could have my eating disorder is if I hid it. But as an adult, we don't have to hide it. We don't have to own up to anybody. We don't have parents telling us what to eat and what not to eat and what's healthy and what's not healthy. It's all up to us. And that's dangerous. Sometimes that's really, really dangerous as an adult to have an eating disorder because of that reason. Number 8, knowledge. The knowledge you have as a child and the knowledge that you have as an adult are two very different things. As a child, you are not even fully developed enough in your brain to know right from wrong sometimes, or what's healthy or what's unhealthy. As an adult, our brains are totally developed. We know what we're doing. We know what's wrong. We know what's good for us. We know what's bad for us. And we have that knowledge. Children do not have that knowledge. Children are worried about just getting the food, or just staying away from the food, or just making that boy like them, or just being popular at school. They don't have the knowledge that we have about why it's dangerous for us and what it can do to our bodies. They don't have it, which is why this is such a dangerous disease, because it does start in childhood, where we don't think it through and we don't think clearly when we start our eating disorder. Number 7, adult bullies versus child bullies. The biggest difference that I've found between adult bullies and child bullies is that child bullies, again, don't have that knowledge fully of what's right and wrong. I don't think that they can comprehend how badly they're hurting us. Like, as a child, when I was bullied, it hurt like hell when it was happening. It hurt me so bad. But now as an adult, looking back on that, I can say to myself, okay, that boy that bullied me the most, you know what? He was not at school a lot. He always wore the same clothes that were dirty and gross. Maybe he was being neglected. Maybe his parents were on drugs. Maybe, as an adult, I can identify that, okay, that child, I kind of actually feel bad for my bullies as children because they didn't know any better. And maybe they were being bullied at home. But as an adult, we know better. And this is why it drives me insane when I see bullies on the internet or adult bullies in life or anywhere. It absolutely boggles my mind how anybody who has a fully developed brain and who's old enough to know the difference between right and wrong can tease somebody and bully somebody about their weight or whatever mental problem they're having or whatever. It drives me insane that people can actually do this to other people as adults, but it happens. And it's ridiculous. And you know what? It kind of hurts me more to be bullied by an adult than it would to be bullied by a child. So it drives me insane. That's the difference to me between adult bullies and child bullies. They both suck, but in different ways and for different reasons. Number 6, treatment. Therapy as a child was very different than therapy as an adult, obviously, just because as a child you kind of sugarcoat things and you filter things in order to make it appropriate for a child. But when you're an adult, you have to face those hard things and those realizations and the reality of really what's going on, with no filters, no sugarcoating, none of that. You have to face it as an adult of what's really going on to figure out what it is that's really going on and how you can help yourself. Number 5, the effect that it has on you physically. As a child, being physically affected is much different than an adult. And I think it's just because we're young, our bodies are young, they're not as worn down, they're stronger, they're newer, just like a newer car would last longer than an older car on a road trip, you know? I can't stand for longer than 10 or 20 minutes without feeling like I'm going to pass out. I'm constantly nauseated. I have headaches. I feel tired all the time. My joints hurt all the time. I just feel like I'm a 60 or 70-year-old woman inside of a 31-year-old body. That's what it feels like to me. And as a child, you're just not worn in yet. Your body is still fresh. Your body's still new. This brings me to number 4 also, is that it also affects your actual health, your actual health status. All of my health problems that are eating disorder related and that are not are both terrible because of my eating disorder. So, it just comes in full circle, and it takes everything from your health but it's different as a child. It still sucks as a child because they don't know what they're getting into. Number 3, making a livelihood versus not working. Childhood should be about growing and experiencing and learning things about the world. It shouldn't be about working to provide for yourself. That's your parents' job. That's how it's supposed to be as a child. And then when you get older, of course, you need to learn responsibility and how to provide for yourself. It's ironic to me personally because my eating disorder has caused me now as a 31-year-old adult to not be able to have a job. I've worked in the past, but now I've gotten so sick that it's like I'm back in that childhood state where I can't work. Do you know what I'm saying? Does this make any sense? I don't even know if this makes sense to you. It might not. I have a really diseased brain, so I'm not sure if I make sense sometimes, but hopefully I am. And the other part of it is that, you know, if we're supporting ourselves as adults, we have the ability, I kind of talked about this before, but we have the ability to make the choice of what we eat. We can drive, which means that we can go to a drive-through and get as many burgers as we want and go and binge and purge and nobody would know. Again, but as a child, again, you don't have that responsibility. You don't have the responsibility or the privilege to drive or to take care of yourself or to buy things for yourself. And so it's a little bit more difficult when that's another thing that makes adult eating disorders so freaking difficult, is that there's such easy access to what you want to keep your eating disorder going. Number 2, body image. Childhood body image, in my experience, is much different than adult body image. And here's why. When I was a child, I did not really notice what fat and skinny was until I started being called fat. Before that started happening, before I was bullied, before I had gained all the weight, when my binge eating disorder started, it had nothing to do with weight for me, had nothing to do with my body. I don't think I even was aware of what size my body was or what I looked like or anything like that. I don't think I cared until I started getting bullied about it. And into adulthood, it's so hard because we as adults know a lot more than we did as children. We know what is considered beautiful in the world, what is considered attractive or hot or whatever, and we are constantly bombarded by the media and Hollywood and everybody telling us how we're supposed to look and what we're supposed to look like. And all the magazines have diet tips on their covers. Like, it's just everywhere around us as an adult. It's in the movies, it's in the media, it's on the radio, it's in the magazines, it's everywhere, it's everywhere. And we have to be aware of our surroundings as adults, which means that we have to be aware of the stupid little things that can really trigger our eating disorders. Like, I didn't buy my clothes when I was little, my mom did. My mom knew what size I was. I didn't know. I didn't have to know. But as an adult, I have to know. And with an eating disorder as an adult, that makes body image like a million times worse because of the knowledge that we have as an adult, and because we're just more aware of it when we're adults. We're being taught more as adults what we should look like and what we should feel like and what is healthy and what's not healthy. So it's just it's very different, but both are very scary. It's still scary to be a child and not know the difference between body image, because like what happened to me, like I got hit with it so hard and so fast out of nowhere with these bullies that it really scarred me, and it scarred me for life still to this day. So it's dangerous on both ends of the spectrum, you know. Number 1 difference is, simply put, death. We are so much closer to death as adults as we were as children. If your eating disorder started in childhood, you are definitely more close to death as an adult than if you were to start as an adult to have an eating disorder. And I'm not saying that you should, as an adult, go start an eating disorder and say that you're not in as much danger as we are that have suffered our whole lives. That's not what I'm saying at all. Here we are as far as our bodies are feeling based on what we've been through. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. I hope you can get my idea. I'm not very good today at talking. I should have saved this video for when I'm like thinking clearly, but I'm not thinking clearly today because I'm withdrawing from my Prozac again because the pharmacy was out of it over the weekend, and so I need my Prozac, but I don't have it. What was I talking about? So to sum up, there are just so many differences between having an eating disorder as an adult and as a child, but both are extremely sad and both are extremely tragic and both are extremely painful. So again, I know I say this all the time, but I'm going to ask again, if you know anybody struggling with an eating disorder, I don't care how old they are, I don't care who they are, I don't care what you think they're doing is wrong, just be patient with them and love them. It's an extremely difficult disease to fight at any age, and just because we're older as an adults, it doesn't make it any easier to fight it. If you're one of those young children or teenagers out there that's struggling with self-worth and you have turned to eating disorders or cutting or any other self-mutilation or any other self-harming behaviors, I wish that I could just reach through the screen and give you like a really big hug. And so let's do that really quick. Okay, come give me a hug. Come here. Come here. Oh, it's okay. It's gonna be okay. We can get through this, I promise. You're beautiful. You are worth so much. You can do so much with your life. You have so much to offer. You are worth more than you think you're worth. And I love you. And people in your life love you. Okay? You are loved. You're not alone. Even if you feel like you are, you're not. Reach out. Stop pushing people away. Reach out, accept the help, and accept the love that people are trying to give to you. I promise you it will be worth it if you can stop it before you get to the point that I'm at. Okay, so thank you for watching today. You are beautiful. You're worth it. And I am too. Thank you for watching. Bye!